40 million projects have already been built on Lovable. 200,000 new ones launching every single day. If you've got that business idea in your head that you wanted to build, you can check out Lovable at the link in the description. But now, back to the video, because this is where it gets really interesting. Take a photo on your phone and pinch to zoom in. What just happened? Well, what do you mean? It pinched, it zoomed, of course. You didn't type zoom to 200%. You grabbed the photo itself and manipulate it, or drag a file straight into the trash. Don't describe it, you drag it and you drop it in. This is direct manipulation, and it's the core idea that makes graphical user interfaces work. You have elements, whether it's an album cover, an item in a list, or an icon, and you manipulate those directly. Tapping them, scrolling them, dragging them, zooming, pinching. This all seems very obvious today, but it's the key to understand everything. See, direct manipulation has a superpower. Everything you can do is right there in front of you, ready to be manipulated. You don't have to remember all your commands, just open up a menu and here they are, all the available ones. As long as the things you're manipulating fit on a screen, this is perfect. As long as it's the few options for your coffee in the Starbucks app, it's perfect, but watch what happens when you start to add more complexity, more things to manipulate, options and toggles and views. That's when you need to collapse things into menus. And when a menu is not enough, into a submenu. And when that's not enough, you need different panels. And when you have so many things you can do, you need to have customizable panels, where some of them are visible and some of them are not, and you have to choose which ones to show through another menu. This is how we got to the scary, daunting interfaces of how most professional tools look like today. The editor for Instagram stories feels simple. You can take things, move them around, drag them with your finger, tap to edit. This is what direct manipulation is great at. Something like Adobe After Effects, for example, feels scary and intimidating because it's way more complex than what direct manipulation can actually achieve. So, do you see what's going on here? Every single attempt at introducing revolutionary AI here failed because, well, the graphical user interface and direct manipulation is just better at this stuff. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have chatbots and agentic AI, because once you cross a certain threshold of complexity, graphical interfaces stop becoming an asset and they become a problem. An endless sea of menus, dashboards, submenus, and panels, things you have to learn. So you'd rather have a robot doing that for you. A chat is freeform. You're not bound by some designer building a button for that specific function. You have indirect manipulation. You're asking this agent, this machine, to do something for you, and it goes ahead and does it. So this is it. Really simple interactions will use UI, really complex ones will be agentic via chat. That's it. Well, I left out something really important here. See, this is not just a gradient from simple to complex. It looks more like this, a normal distribution. Most of the things we do every day with our tech are not just setting a timer, and are also probably not doing analytics on huge databases. It's stuff that is in the middle. It's browsing the web, writing a presentation, booking a flight, checking your email. So what's going on in here, in the middle, is actually what's important and where our missing link is. Take a look at this. This looks like a normal browser with a normal search box. Type, and the best result appears. Maybe the only thing is that it looks like the internet is a bit slow. Well, this website wasn't loaded. It got generated on the spot based on what you typed. No one built this website. Or take a look at this. If you ask Claude to explain relativity to you, instead of a wall of text, it builds an interactive visualization. Now, in principle, this is nothing new. You can build websites and apps with AI now. We saw it. The sponsor of this video is Lovable. But there's something different here. These are not apps that someone built. A machine has decided that a graphical user interface was the best interface for what the user was doing, and then it went ahead and built it on the spot. And it decided the best UI would look like this. This is called generative UI. There's 3 levels of it, and this example in Claude is just level 1. Because this is direct manipulation. It is styled consistently with Claude's brand and colors, but everyone else is catching up. Google just announced that search is gonna start generating little apps that help you visualize complex search or topic with generative UI. And sure, these things now are pretty slow to generate on the spot, but just like when I was a kid, a web page would take like a minute to load, and now we just assume it's instant. The same thing will happen to generative UI. In the future, it will look silly to wait a minute for your app to be ready. But level 2 is where things start to get interesting. Take booking a flight. The UI we have now kind of makes sense. You can pick your airports, your dates from a date picker, and this, by the way, is way faster than typing that out on your keyboard and way more accurate than using some voice assistant to do it. But last month, I had to organize a trip to San Francisco for me and my producer Bartek to shoot a video where we went behind the scenes of Figma. I'll leave a link in the description, by the way. It's a pretty cool video. So I had to search for flights from Italy and Poland to SF, adding a stop in New York City, and we weren't even sure about the dates. This this is the kind of thing that moves the complexity from here to here. Now, I use Google Flights, for example, and it already has today an AI mode. So I was like, great. But when I typed in my query, it told me it cannot show the results because yes, this is an AI prompt box, but the resulting UI underneath is regular UI. It's just a grid of flights. So level 2 is keeping a base UI that is, well, regular UI, but where some pieces of that can adapt to be generative. See, this is a mockup I made that starts from the familiar UI of Google Flights, but still gives you the flexibility to add any weird request. But the resulting UI underneath is not going to be just a grid of flights, but something that no designer at Google has directly designed. In this case, it's a slider that lets me move around dates and shows me with colors the most expensive flight of the bunch. Airbnb's CEO Brian Chesky just said on X that they tried to implement chat-based interfaces of booking Airbnb, but they had to scrap them because they realized it just didn't work. It wasn't the right kind of interface. And so now he just launched a new AI lab that's building AI models made purposefully for generative UI. And something else happens when you get to this level 2, because the way you build technology changes completely. Designers and engineers are not going to design and build screens and decide where a button goes or a list or what's the layout. They're going to design rules, going from designing this, what each screen is, to this, basically designing the UI kit, the Lego blocks that the AI can use to generate the interface with your visual language and taste, and then rules for how to use these Lego blocks. For example, when to show a map versus a list, what layouts are preferred, and this is a fundamental shift in how products are built. And level 3 is where you don't just have a regular app with pieces of generative UI, but the entire product becomes generative UI. The rules that tell the product what to show are the product. But there's something important to understand here. The future of how we interact with technology is not generative UI. It's not old UI. It's not chatbots and agents. It's all these things. We'll still have regular, traditional UI with direct manipulation, where that is the best interface for those jobs, usually simple ones. We will still have powerful agentic systems that do things for you, where that is the best interface for that complex job. And we'll have all 3 layers of generative UI, where that is what solves the problem best. And this is the biggest shift that most products will have to go through in the coming years. I'm doing it right now for my product Flask. You can use it to share feedback on videos by just recording on your screen and drawing, so a regular UI is the best interface for that. It's familiar, you can move around the videos, very visual, but when you break down the feedback that a lot of people gave, you need something specific. A specific breakdown, that's where generative UI would make the most sense. And I'll be adding that when the tech is good enough. And instead, for the boring stuff, like organizing things into folders and managing your team seats, that's stuff that you shouldn't do yourself, and where chat and agents would do it best. So just like the Xerox PARC Research Center